more pre-recorded.
If you've got a smart speaker, you've got us. Just say, play 96.9 The Game on iHeartRadio.
WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9 The Game.
We are Fox Sports.
And here's what you need to know.
In golf at the PGA Championship.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Happy Monday, everybody. We are loud. We are live. We are local. Every morning, 6 to 9:30 a.m. right here on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD 101.1-2. And on social media, you can watch us live and in color. Just go to YouTube, search for Open Mic Live Stream, and there we are. I'm in studio today with Adam Reardon and Kelly Velez. I see Kelly Velez in person for the first time this morning.
I can feel the energy right now, folks. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. Adam Reardon, of course, the deceptive intellect. Kelly Velez is the smooth operator.
Oh, yeah. We got Memorial Day coming. Oh, this is how I feel today, folks.
Yeah.
We smooth today.
We got all sorts of stuff to talk about. We've got NBA. We've got NFL. We've got some Tebow talk. I wonder whose jersey's leading the NFL in jersey sales right now.
Here we go.
Is it a backup tight end for the Jaguars? Could it be? We're going to get into all the stories. We want to hear from you. 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 96.9 The Game. You can text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line, 50857. First chance at $1,000. That's coming up at 7:10 a.m. this morning. It's the Game Day Payday, brought to you by International Diamond Center. We like to begin every show with an open mic early morning inspirational quote of the day from the great Albert Einstein, the genius himself, who once said, and I quote, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle." Deceptive intellect?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say that there's two ways to live your life. One
is if there's nothing, as though nothing is a miracle.
Just reiterate it.
that nothing is a miracle, which means that you are in control of everything. Okay, that every decision that you make controls your destiny. Every ounce of hard work you put in is what you're going to get out of it. Okay.
All right.
Or you can live your life saying, "I've been
blessed."
Blessed, yeah. That things happen because there is a preordained plan. That life happens as it's supposed to. You're right where the universe wants you. There's God has the master plan, something like that, and that you're just sort of a bit player in all of it. Yeah,
sort of like dust in the wind.
That's right.
The old Kansas song, "Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind."
Sing it.
Yeah.
I guess the truth is there is no in between there. You either believe that you're part of some big giant plan, or you are in full control of what's happening today.
Yeah. Jimbo Fisher, I remember one time he was preaching religion one time when he was coaching Florida State. It was when they were in the national championship game, and it was the pregame press conference, and he was talking about destiny. He goes, "God put us on this earth, but you create your own destiny." Yeah, he was getting deep. He's
dropping knowledge.
Wait a minute. He just contradicted what I just said. He said, "Well, you can do both."
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he said. So.
Find you someone who can do both. That's Jimbo Fisher, apparently.
All right, it's an overreaction Monday. It's a Game Balls and Goop Balls Monday, so give us a call, text them in, tweet them in, whatever you want to do. Obviously, the number one game ball from the sports weekend goes to lefty Phil Mickelson. I mean, this guy has been around for 30 years delivering all sorts of thrills and chills on the golf course. Well, his latest act yesterday, what a stunner that was. He's a major champion. At the age of 50, he wins the PGA Championship, and here's what it sounded like.
Mickelson for birdie now to get back to 7 under. Huge crowd gathered around this green, put his way, working up to the cup, and he walked it right in. Back in his stance, pitches it just short, hops up there, working up towards the hole, up to the cup, and what a spectacular play for Phil Mickelson. He will tap that in for birdie. From left to right as that works down the slope. Left to right, up to the cup, and that stops 6 inches away, but Phil Mickelson's going to tap in for a par. He is going to shoot a 1/73 in the final round, but Phil Mickelson creates and sets professional golf history, the oldest to win a major championship. Phil Mickelson embraces his brother Tim. Phil Mickelson is the champion of the 103rd PGA Championship.
This is just an incredible feeling because I just believed that it was possible, but yet everything was saying it wasn't. And I hope that others find that inspiration. It might take a little extra work, a little bit harder effort to maintain physically or maintain the skills, but gosh, is it worth it in the end? And I'm so appreciative to be holding this Wanamaker trophy.
Can you beat that crowd? You can't beat that.
Well, that crowd was out of control coming down the 18th. I mean, they essentially charged onto the course and engulfed Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka. It was scary. I thought it was going to be like a golf riot out there, for crying out loud. But man, Phil, look at him. Look at him right. I'm watching on TV. I mean, Phil Mickelson even said after the match, he thanked the fans. He goes, it was a little unnerving, though. Yeah. It was like fans storming the court in basketball or storming the field in football, except the players and athletes and coaches are still out on the field. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But Phil Mickelson, first 50-year-old golfer to ever win a major. He breaks the 53-year-old record. Do you know who was the previous oldest champion? Adam Reardon, oldest major champion.
I always thought it was Jack Nicklaus, but I guess turns out I was wrong.
No, it was one Julius Boros. He was 48 years old when he won the 1968 PGA Championship in San Antonio, but he didn't create the chaos that Phil Mickelson created yesterday. Phil Mickelson, 115th in the world, winless in his last 2 years, had to get a special exemption to even play in the PGA Championship. By the way, what is he doing taking the spot of another deserving golfer like Tebow, taking the spot of another backup tight end? Phil Mickelson, shame on him. Shame on him for taking a more deserving golfer's spot.
I would dare to say that Phil Mickelson is more accomplished in this game than Tim Tebow was in his first run in the NFL.
By the way, I'm looking at Phil Mickelson right now at 50 years old. He looks like he's in the best shape he's ever been in. He used to be sort of a chubby guy. Now he's sculpted. He's, again, he just looks bigger and stronger than ever. And he even mentioned yesterday, Adam Reardon, he said Tom Brady has really been an inspiration to him as far as, staying in shape at an older age for an athlete. I'm telling you right now, with all the training methods and nutrition and chemicals out there, it is much easier for an older athlete to excel today. Would you agree with that?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, it's sort of like when just in the workplace, talk about technology and how technology helps us, perform our jobs today. There is a technology in medicine and in nutrition and things like that are helping athletes perform. I mean, look at Tom Brady. I'll never forget the day they put up a picture of Tom Brady next to George Blanda, and it said that they were the same age.
Right?
And I'm going, wait a minute. One guy is 25 years older, and I don't know if it's that George Blanda just lived a hell of a lot harder in the offseason than Tom Brady has in his lifetime, or if it's that, with the proper nutrition, with things that we know today that maybe George Blanda didn't know. Like, these cigarettes are going to kill me? Are you kidding me? Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That things have changed. And Mickelson looks...
What's this HGH stuff? George Blanda didn't have that.
No, he didn't have that. Yeah, the CBD oils and stuff like that. No, that didn't exist back then. So there's all kinds of stuff, but credit to him.
I do wonder, and again, I'm not taking anything. When I looked at Phil Mickelson yesterday, I wondered, okay, what is he's got to be taking he's got to be on some nutritional plan or again, we know golfers are working out like they never have before, but I wonder what the golf testing policy is for if you're 50 years old, obviously your testosterone, I know because I am, older than that.
Yeah.
Right. And the testosterone goes down. I wonder if you're allowed to take testosterone to a level that gets you up to par, sort of like the gender.
It's funny because I was actually listening. I was doing a lot of driving this weekend, and we had the coverage here on the station. So I'm listening, and I think it was the 16th hole, which is a long par 5, and Brooks Koepka hit first and blows his drive way out there, and then Mickelson steps in there at 50 years old and hits it past him, and there's a part of me that's in my car and goes, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Mickelson driving his ball further than the jacked up Brooks Koepka. I don't know. I'm with you that nowadays you sort of, in this day and age we live in the world of sports, you kind of raise your eyebrow and go, I wonder what if.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But good for Phil Mickelson. It was great for golf to have him winning the PGA Championship yesterday. Never really got pushed. Really, I mean, a couple of Louis Oosthuizen and Brooks Koepka had chances, but they blew their chances. And Phil Mickelson wins it by shooting 1 over yesterday, 6 under for the tournament, by the way. Straight ahead, Orlando City wins again, but this time without Nani, who's been a very bad boy. That's next on Open Mic.
Hey, this is Frank Caliendo, pretend to be Charles Barkley.
tracked back by Kamar Lawrence. Vondervater gets around Lawrence. Header! Tesho! Tesho Akindele! What a beautiful service from Vondervater! And the Lions strike in the 12th minute.
Well, we mentioned about being excited to see Vondervater, and what can he produce? Well, he received the ball on the right-hand side. He had Mavinga against him. He came chopped back on his left foot. What a fantastic ball into the box. Akindele with a header. 1-0 Orlando.
2 Lions made a run in the box, and Tesha was the one to get the head on it. And the Lions strike first at Exploria Stadium.
Our own Scott Harris. Scott Harris on the call. Orlando City strikes first and last. They win 1-0 over the weekend against Toronto FC. Tesho Akindele with the score. I cannot pronounce the assist. Sylvester Vanderwater. Is that how you say his name? Vanderwater?
It's pronounced with the V, no? Yeah.
Play the beginning of the clip again.
Now Vondervater charging in on the box. Charged back by Kamar Lawrence. Vandervater gets around Lawrence.
Vanderwater gets it done. Orlando City.
Excuse me?
Orlando City 3-0-3. They are still unbeaten after 6 games. They won that game without Nani, their captain. He did not play. He has received a 2-game suspension. I guess they found that out shortly before the game that he'd been suspended for 2 games for last week's altercation with an official. Yeah. He bumped an official, made contact with a referee in stoppage time of last week's match against DC United. He's got to stop doing that. He did that during the playoffs last year when Orlando City lost the game and sort of lost their composure. And he and a couple other players had physical contact with the officials. And Adam Reardon, you're Mr. Soccer here. He got a 2-game suspension. If you bump an official, I think you should be, I'm not saying you should be banned for the season, but I think you should be more than 2 games.
Well, and you know, fair or not to Nani, probably more fair than not, he's going to, have this reputation now as somebody who doesn't respect the officiating, because this isn't the first time. And it's probably why they, somebody reached out to the league and said, hey, this guy's a habitual offender now. This guy doesn't respect the officiating in this league and doesn't respect the officials. And listen, you can argue with calls all day long. I've even heard profanity directed at officials, which that doesn't necessarily bother me at a professional level. But the minute you invade their space and make contact in the idea to sort of intimidate and sort of show them up in that way, I mean, now you're crossing a line, and it's something that very rarely happens in Europe. Now, will guys run up to an official in Europe and say, you got that call wrong, your mom wears combat boots, all that other kind of stuff? Sure, but making contact with officials very rarely happens, and if it does happen, it's dealt with appropriately. I think Nani's got to sort of check himself a little bit. I mean, I get that this is the MLS, and maybe you think that you know better than any official here, and that maybe you're bigger than the league or bigger than. Dude, you got to check yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, you
keep yourself on the field for your team. By the way, that's probably the most important thing.
And again, I've grown to really like watching Orlando City and watching soccer, but the way soccer players, again. We always talk about NBA players and how they whine after every call and complain. Soccer players are so much worse. They are worse as far as the flopping in soccer. Every call against them, they complain about. Again, they bump officials in MLS. Again, it's frustrating to watch sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, the flopping is something that I've always told people, as the European influence in the NBA has changed over the last 25 years, you've seen it more in the NBA. that people say, I'm going to draw a call because it benefits you. And there is a culture in soccer that says, if I fall down, I grab my ankle, I sort of force the official to blow a whistle, which gives my team an advantage. And I hate it. It's the part that I hate, and I know that American sports fans can't stand either. So, I hate that that's part of the game. Complaining about officiating is another thing that just, I was at a youth soccer tournament this weekend, and believe me, that is ingrained in our children from the age of 6 to the time they graduate high school and move on to college, because guess who they hear yelling at the officials all day long?
Yeah.
Mom and dad. And they think, well, mom and dad are doing it, so guess what I should do? I should do it. Coach, sometimes. Honestly, I had this conversation this weekend. I think everybody who's involved in sports, parent, coach, everybody should have to be an official for 1 year. I refereed the year before I started coaching, and if you ever wonder why you'll never hear me argue or yell at an official in a game, it's because I know where that guy's been. I know exactly. He's not going to get every single offsides call right, but he's in a better position to do it than I am. So when I hear people arguing all the time and you see players arguing, I tell them, listen, just get back in and play. He ain't going to go, you know what? It's a great argument you made there. Unless John Morgan's on the sideline and he can argue himself out of it, then it ain't going to change. So you should just move on. But it's the culture of the game.
When my daughter played youth soccer, there was one dad who on our team.
Yeah.
And he would just lambaste the officials. He got thrown out of games a couple times, and I'm like, what are you doing? And his daughter, who played on the team, you could tell that she was influenced by him. First of all, she was embarrassed a lot of times.
Yeah.
But she also, as I watched her progress through high school, and she became sort of one of those who mouthy and sort of a disciplinary issue as far as complaining to the officials.
Yeah, she doesn't respect the authority that's out there.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So it was it would frustrate me to no end because again, this me and my daughters would talk about it when we would drive home. I go, I will only yell encouragement at you guys during the
you're
course.
A good dad.
Yeah.
You're a good dad.
So anyway, by the way, Orlando Pride, they also win over the weekend, beat the defending champion North Carolina Courage. Alex Morgan and Sidney LaRue getting it done with goals.
Morgan, and it's 2-0 Orlando. There's the form, there's the dance, and Morgan has found the magic.
About time they beat North Carolina. They were on an 8-game winless streak against the North Carolina Courage, which is the class of the league. I think they've won the last 2 in WSL championships. So good for Orlando City. Maybe they're getting it turned around. I got to tell you real quick, the new ownership, the Wilf family, they are really into women's soccer. They want to upgrade the Pride big time.
Well, good. Yeah. I mean, that's great news for the community, and it's nice to see our star players playing like star players now and getting wins that we're not used to seeing them get.
Yeah. All right, straight ahead, NBA action. A lot of playoffs over the weekend. We're going to get to that. Also, is LeBron getting preferential treatment? What? That's next on Open Mic.
Open Mic with Mike Bianchi
Booker on the drive. Booker to the rim. Booker jams it.
Booker jams it down as the Phoenix Suns beat the LA Lakers 99-90 yesterday. Devin Booker, 34 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton, 21 points, 10 of 11 shooting, 16 rebounds for the second-seeded Suns as they beat the LA Lakers. The Lakers down 1-0 in their playoff series with the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Davis, by the way, did not play well yesterday. Did not play well at all yesterday. What was he from the field? I think he was he 5 of 16 from the field yesterday? So Lakers go down. Some upsets in the NBA. The Grizzlies beat the Jazz yesterday, 112-109. The Grizzlies, of course, barely got into the playoffs as a play-in. In the play-in game, they beat the Warriors on Friday night, then a quick turnaround, and they beat the number 1 seeded Jazz. Good for them. Anthony Davis was 5 of 16 shooting, by the way. The 76ers beat the Wizards. No surprise there. Former Magic player Tobias Harris getting it done. And what about Trae Young getting it done against Kelly Velez's Knickerbockers?
It was rough. But you take your wins with your losses, you know.
Yeah. Hawks win that game 107-105. On Saturday, the Nets beat the Celtics. The Big Three making their playoff debut for the Nets. The Bucks beat the Heat in overtime. The Mavericks beat the Clippers. That was an upset. Mm-hmm. And the Trailblazers beat the Nuggets in an upset. So we had quite a few upsets in the first round of the playoffs. One upset, though, that was not an upset. LeBron James was not suspended by the NBA, despite the fact that he broke the health and safety protocols. I guess LeBron was at some sort of function where he was promoting a tequila brand that he is an investor in. And he was there with the rapper Drake and actor Michael B. Jordan, again, promoting this tequila brand. And you're not supposed to do that, okay? You're not supposed to do that. And, a lot of times maybe the league will suspend you for that. And LeBron did not get suspended entering the playoffs. Charles Barkley, though, was not surprised about that.
Listen, I love Adam Silver. Rest in peace, David Stern, the best commissioner in sports. The NBA ain't got the balls to zero. When I read that, I just, like sometimes you read stuff, you just throw out, hey, the NBA, they ain't got no chance of suspending LeBron James. Like if it was a nobody, they would put him in health and safety protocols. Ain't no way LeBron James is gonna be sit out because of health and safety protocols. When I read that, I just started laughing. LeBron James is playing Sunday. Guaranteed. That clip came before LeBron James actually did play on Sunday.
Are we surprised?
No, we're not. No, absolutely not. And again, if it had been a nobody, maybe they do get suspended. But we all know in sports, there's different rules for different players. You're not going to suspend the face of the league, are you?
I literally had this conversation this weekend. Spurrier was a guy who told players on his team, listen, you got different rules. There are different rules on this team.
Jimmy Johnson used to say that,
that no successful coach and or league. I get the great idea that everybody's treated equally. It doesn't work that way. Not in business, not in life, not in
although maybe
sports.
Maybe it should with the rule, like the actual league. I understand coaches treating players differently, but maybe the league shouldn't.
I mean, just think about this, fellas. I mean, we're out there driving. We're doing about 15 miles over the speed limit. We get pulled over. We're probably getting a ticket. Your more attractive, better looking half gets pulled over doing the same 15. may not get the ticket. You know what I mean? Life is like that. Life is like that. LeBron is the more attractive half for the NBA. Okay, they're not trying to suspend LeBron James.
And you're probably right. If somebody, let's just take the radio station as an example. If you've got a radio host, all right, whose ratings are through the roof and who's bringing in a lot of advertising revenue and selling a lot of endorsements on his show or his or her show, all right. And that radio host says something maybe unsavory on the radio, something that management doesn't agree with, perhaps,
that may ruffle some feathers.
Something offensive on the radio. That host is going to get more leeway than the host whose ratings are terrible and says an equally offensive thing.
No question. No, but that's life. I mean, as soon as you come to grips with that. That's the one rule in life that is constant, that rules change for different players, okay? And how you apply that in your world, there's just a billion different examples you can give like that. And LeBron broke the rules, as other players have broken the rules in the past, but his punishment is much different.
Do you think that there was a play right before that he was like, weighing the pros and cons, should I go? COVID, and there's a lot of people there. I got the playoffs. Or you think he just played the LeBron card like, no, they'll be fine?
I think he's like, hey, I'm investing in this company in long term. This is a good move for me, and chances are the league ain't gonna.
I wonder too. I mean, maybe, and again, I don't know this. I'm just surmising, all right? Because maybe the league knows that LeBron has been vaccinated.
Well, and I actually,
although LeBron, he was asked, "Have you been vaccinated?" and he wouldn't answer. So
we still don't have confirmation whether or not he has or hasn't.
No, no, but the league probably knows, right? And the league's not gonna, come out and say it because that's private.
That's his business, right?
That's
HIPAA violation.
Yeah. So maybe he's been vaccinated, and the league knows that. And I guess if you've been vaccinated, maybe you can do some of these things, right?
It's actually a good point.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, anyway, just a thought. By the way, the other big NBA news over the weekend, what do you think about this, Adam Reardon, being the soccer fan that you are? The NBA is thinking about having a midseason tournament, a midseason sort of thing, like soccer does. They'll have these tournaments in the middle of the season. What is it?
The Champions League, the FA Cup, and all these other tournaments. Is this what they're comparing it to?
Yeah, the Copa Cup.
Copa America and all that stuff. Okay, so my question would be, who is participating in this tournament? NBA teams?
Yeah.
Okay,
and I think the games would count on the record.
So this is not what they do in Europe. Is absolutely these are the same teams that are in your league that are playing in a tournament and then will play against each other in the playoffs. This is just creating more games. It's not.
No, I don't think it's creating more games.
Are they going to get rid of some regular season games?
Yeah, okay. I believe they are.
Okay, but still, what do you win to win the mid-season tournament? Is that the NBA half title?
It's just again.
No, it's stupid. It's a stupid idea.
It's not. It's not stupid because it's gonna create again the middle of the NBA season. A lot of people aren't paying attention. Maybe this will at least somebody will pay attention. Hey, who's winning the tournament? Right?
Who's winning the tournament that what?
That you don't get anything.
That you don't get anything.
The pre-playoff tournament.
Yeah,
okay.
No. Yeah. The answer is no.
No, you don't like it?
No.
I thought you would love it being a soccer
because
fan.
The Champions League is different. The Champions League is basically you take this league's best 4 teams and they play against other leagues' best 4 teams and they build a tournament like that. So if the NBA was playing against, like Germany's best teams, and that was you had to qualify for it. So you had to be one of the top 3 teams in the NBA, one of the top 2 teams in the German league, one of the top 3 teams in the Spanish league, and they created. Now we're talking. It's an internet, and it's but these are basically the same teams. These are the same teams playing the same kind of games. You're just sort of changing the name on the game,
spicing up the regular season. I sort of like it. I sort of like it.
Not even
spice it up. Magic could win the mid-season tournament, have a trophy.
What if it backfires in the NBA like that? basically you get to the midway point of the season. There's this mid-season tournament, and the Lakers and LeBron goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna take these weeks off. I'm gonna rehab my body."
The stars would have to buy into this for this to work. There's no question about that. All right, we do have a supplemental poll on that. You can go vote at 96.9 The Game. Text in your game balls and goop balls 50857. We're gonna hand out our game balls and goop balls next on Open Mic.
96.9 The were hyped to the max, while others flopped.
We got flops all over the place.
It's time for Game Balls and Goofballs on Open Mic.
Text in your game balls and goofballs to 50857. Give us a call if you want, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us as well at 96.9 The Game. Don't forget your first chance at $1,000 coming up at 7:10 a.m. this morning. Compliments of International Diamond Center. Our number one game ball of the weekend obviously goes to Lefty, the 50-year-old man, Phil Mickelson, getting it done at the PGA Championship. Old guys rule. Way to go, Phil.
Mickelson for birdie now to get back to 7 under. Huge crowd gathered around this green, put his way, working up to the cup, and he walked it right in. Back in his stance, pitches it just short, hops up there, working up towards the hole, up to the cup, and what a spectacular play for Phil Mickelson. He will tap that in for birdie. From left to right as that works down the slope. Left to right, up to the cup, and that stops 6 inches away, but Phil Mickelson's going to tap in for a par. He is going to shoot a 1/73 in the final round, but Phil Mickelson creates and sets professional golf history, the oldest to win a major championship. Phil Mickelson embraces his brother Tim. Phil Mickelson is the champion of the 103rd PGA Championship.
This is just an incredible feeling because I just believed that it was possible, but yet everything was saying it wasn't. And I hope that others find that inspiration. It might take a little extra work, a little bit harder effort to maintain physically or maintain the skills, but gosh, is it worth it in the end? And I'm so appreciative to be holding this Wanamaker trophy.
It is the year of the old man in sports. Tom Brady gets it done in the Super Bowl. In fact, Phil Mickelson even mentioned Tom Brady was one of his inspirations to getting it done this weekend. Tom Brady was 43 when he wins the Super Bowl. We've got a supplemental poll on that. What's more amazing, Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl at age 43 as a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or Phil Mickelson becoming the oldest major winner of all time to win a golf major at the age of 50? He breaks Julius Boros's 53-year-old record. What's more amazing, Brady or Mickelson?
For me, it's Mickelson because it's all on him.
It's an individual sport.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like one of those things where
but it's also golf. It's not exactly that physical.
But, you know, if it were up to Brady, if it was just up to Brady, they'd have lost in the NFC title game, you know, with throwing all those interceptions in the second half. Mickelson, when he throws the interceptions or has the bad shot, he's the guy that's got to go out and make a stop on 3rd and 3 and go out and par the next hole or birdie the next hole, stop the bleeding. So Mickelson holding, he's 10 years older. And he's competing against all these young guys. I mean, he's competing against 20-year-olds too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would probably go Mickelson as well.
And the wind was blowing too. I mean, that part. Ooh,
yeah.
Gusty.
All right, you guys can't get the OK Boomer clip ready, all right? Because you're going to call me a boomer here. I'm going to give a goofball to that rowdy, drunken, obnoxious crowd.
Gosh.
I mean, good Lord.
What is OK Boomer?
Yeah, I mean, they as Phil and Brooks Koepka are walking up the 18th green, they essentially charge the course, envelop the golfers. Brooks Koepka was not happy about it. He was nurturing a bad knee, said he got bumped around by the crowd. Look at you guys. I mean, Phil Mickelson even said it was unnerving, even though he thanked the crowd. Crowds do not belong on the field of play. I've said it many times. I don't like court stormings. I don't like field stormings, and I don't like obnoxious drunken fans at golf courses. Golf is a different kind of sport.
Yeah, to me, it's an iconic shot and one that we're not unfamiliar with because remember when Tiger won the Masters
2019?
Yeah, and
although did the fans
that was either there or when he won that event, the Coca-Cola Championship. I remember he was surrounded by fans just like that.
I don't think the Masters would allow unruly patrons.
Yeah.
See people tailgating.
Everybody,
for golf.
your passes will be revoked next year if you cross these lines.
Right.
It's like, listen, Tiger is about to win the Masters. This is the last thing to ever see here. But it's an iconic shot. It's great. It's sort of like I start thinking of Hank Aaron, right? And when Hank Aaron hits the home run to break the record of Babe Ruth, the thought that crosses my mind are the two fans.
Rowdy teenagers.
Yeah, but isn't that part of like the nostalgia? Isn't that sort of iconic in your mind? Like you remember those?
Hank Aaron didn't think so at the time.
At the time,
but he thought he was going to get shot.
Yeah, well, that was a different time. I mean, Phil Mickelson maybe felt like maybe it was time for some shots. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's just an iconic shot, an iconic view and moment. I mean, Phil's always been a fan favorite.
Oh, no question.
So, I mean, if it was Brooks Koepka leading at that time, look, Brooks, they were just bumping you out of the way because nobody was there to see you, okay? For as successful as you've not been a fan favorite. I mean, if that was Patrick Reed, there'd be no fans storming. But it was Phil Mickelson. It was a moment in history like Tiger winning the Masters. Fans wanted to be a part of it. And to be honest,
stay off the course. Stay off the field of play. We don't want riots. These are just riots is all they are.
Riots. Listen, this is the top golf generation out there. I mean, golf.
You're
That's
right.
actually a very good point.
Yeah.
I watched HBO did a piece on the dwindling attention in golf and what people are having to do to get young people excited about golf. They don't want to go out and play 18 holes. They don't want to do it. So you invent Top Golf, the soccer golf that's out there. Somebody said, "Hey, at municipal courses, we should make the hole like about a foot wide, so that because you don't want to go out there and shoot 145." You'd rather go out there and you'd enjoy golf better if you shot a 94, wouldn't you?
God forbid you actually go out on the range and practice to try to get good at it.
Well, let's make the whole sport.
Let's make the hole a foot wide. All right. I will say this: I was playing in the charity golf tournament a couple weeks ago. I do think golf takes too long. I've always said this: golf should be 12 holes. A round of golf should be 12 holes. All right, 9 holes.
6 and 6.
Yeah. First of all, you get a 12-pack of beer, all right? Okay. You get one beer per hole, all right? And again, 18 holes, 4-5 hours, that takes too long. I mean, 12 holes would take about, 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
This might be a great idea.
No, I've said that for years.
As a boxing fan, I understood why they went from 15 rounds in the championship fights to 12 because it was the longer you go, the more dangerous it is. I would co-sign the Mike Bianchi golf from 18 to 12 holes any day of the week.
Right.
Because I get frustrated with golf because I play real fast. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take me very long to get to my ball and go, okay, I'm 154 out. 150 for me is my 8-iron. I'm going to hit my 8-iron. That's what I'm hitting. Okay, I know that. I don't need to stand over it, do the grass in the air.
Do a little
thing.
waggle.
My God.
Do a little plumb bobbing on the green.
And if you're playing a municipal course and you don't have your PGA card and you look at that putt from more than 2 angles, that's it. We're going to fight at the next tee box. I don't got time for that.
All right, how about a game ball for Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks getting it done against Kelly Velez's Knicks? Trae Young drives the lane for the game-winning floater with 0.9 seconds left. Hawks win 107-105. Give me a little Trae Young.
Trae with 5. Trae dribbling, driving, floater. It's around the rim and in. Trae Young scores with 9/10 of a second left. Trae just said shush to the crowd in New York. Dirks is still looking. Now he lobs it in. And a quick turnaround is no good. Ball game is over. Julius Randle missed it. And the Atlanta Hawks have gone into New York. And they have beaten the New York Knickerbockers.
Did you cut that call off?
It was rough. No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
All right.
I told you beforehand, man. I'm very realistic when it comes to my fandom. Trae, he was just cold-blooded last night, man.
He was.
Literally silenced the whole crowd, did the whole shushing motion to them. I can't hear nothing. It was a cold performance.
Yeah,
cold.
13 of his 32 in the fourth quarter. Adam Reardon said something before the show. He said, that's all And I've always said this. This is what the Magic should aspire, again, not to win championships, to just be the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
That's what they should aspire to be.
4-5 matchup. To me, 4-5 matchup isn't that 8 or 9 where you've snuck into the playoffs as a sub 500 team.
You're solidified.
Yeah. It just feels like your program, your organization's moving in the right direction. You could look at the court and go, those are the two guys that we're going to build around. That Trae Young is the guy that late in the game you knew was going to shoot the ball, and look what he did with it. And yeah, so the Atlanta Hawks are a team that was really bad. They were worse than the Magic have been, right? I mean,
they've been, But
they got the right guy.
Yeah, they drafted Trae Young and he built a team around him, and they're a decent little team now. That's all you. If you're not the Lakers or you're not a super team, all you should aspire to be is a good little team. I've always said that. Just be a good little team.
Yep.
That's what you want.
Those role players come in clutch too, because Bogdanovic hit. I mispronounced it. Bogdanovic hit so many clutch shots as well in that game. Just alleviating the pressure from Trae. So when those opportunities came, Trae was like, "I got this.
Yeah,
ice in my veins."
Let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
Speaking of good little teams, the Phoenix Suns. They're more than a good little team.
They're more than that, yeah.
They're a 2 seed, and they beat the Lakers over the weekend behind Devin Booker, who scored 34 points, had 8 assists. We have any Devin Booker from the weekend?
Rebound scramble underneath. Suns have come up with a basketball. Get it out to Booker. Booker on the drive. Booker to the rim. Booker jams it.
I've been watching the playoffs for a very long time and, a student of it and dissecting it. So just, understanding that, it's a next play mentality. There's going to be some play-through calls. It's going to be a high-intensity game. Like tonight, there's going to be something that goes on. But keep the tunnel vision. That's what it was tonight.
Devin Booker, you better believe the Lakers will be getting the calls next game. You know that.
$25,000 fine, Mike. Careful.
Right?
Listen, he's only 24 years old. That guy's a cold-blooded killer.
Think about their progression. They've got a scorer, a tremendous scorer. Ayton was a contributor last night, a number 1 overall pick as well. And then they get the leadership from Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, that changes a lot. I mean, that guy's not won any titles, but he's helped teams elevate to dangerous teams in the playoffs everywhere he's been.
How about the Memphis Grizzlies? Speaking of good little teams, they beat the top-seeded Utah Jazz yesterday, 112-109. Dylan Brooks, where did he come from?
Anderson is inbounding the ball. Anderson gets it in. Brooks turns the corner to the rim, lays it up and in. 4.3 seconds remaining. Jazz thought the Grizzlies would run into the backcourt, and Brooks with 31 in his playoff debut.
31 points in his playoff debut. Wow.
That's how you set the tone. You have to come out the blocks running, and that's exactly what they did, especially coming off that playing win. Oof.
Yeah. And what about a former Magic player, Tobias Harris, yesterday, leading the Philadelphia 76ers to a victory over the Wizards? He certainly deserves a game ball. We have any Tobias Harris?
Tobias Harris back in, 33 in the game. Euro step, left hand left. Harris has got it all cooking here in this one. Timeout, Washington.
Playoff career high for Tobias Harris, 37 points. The Magic gave him away, by the way, for a bag of balls. They gave him away for a bag of balls. Google what the Magic got for Tobias Harris. Can you do that for me, Kelly Velez?
Let's check this
out. What did
out.
the Magic get for Tobias Harris? All right. While you're doing that, how about a game ball? How about a game ball for my Tampa Bay Rays?
What, 10 straight?
10 in a row now. 10 in a row. They beat the Blue Jays yesterday, 6-4. Did you see how they won that game?
I think they come back in the 9th or something?
Well, yeah. 2 walks, 2 consecutive bases loaded walks in the 9th for the Blue Jays.
Little league special right there.
Right? Did we find out what the what the Magic got for Tobias
Yeah,
Harris?
so it happened in 2016. They traded Harris for Ilyasova and Brandon Jennings.
Oh, God, a bag of balls.
Brandon Jennings.
You got a bag of balls for him. Yeah.
The original R.J. Hampton.
I mean, Brandon Jennings, he always showed like flashes of greatness, but it just never was consistent
He was the first
enough.
guy. He was the first guy that went overseas instead of like doing the college thing with the one and done situation. Yeah. Can I give a game ball to Sergio Aguero? I don't know if you know who Sergio Aguero is. He's the longtime striker for Manchester City who played his last game for the club. He's their all-time leading scorer. He's the only player who was there for all 5 of their championships here in my lifetime. They bring him on in the 60th minute so that they can go coming into the game, the all-time leading scorer, number 10 in your media guides, but number 1 in your hearts. Bring him in the 60th minute, and on his way out the door, scores 2 goals.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really kind of, I mean, for the folks there at the Etihad. And that was the last game of the season in the Premier League, so they're celebrating, Manchester City's championship this year. And then, the goodbye to Sergio Aguero, who goes out with 2 goals, including a beautiful header for his second goal.
By the way, speaking of European soccer, is this a game ball or a goop ball? Cristiano Ronaldo got benched yesterday by
Juventus?
Yeah. Is that?
I didn't see why he got benched. Like well, they subbed him out of the game?
Yeah, I guess he's just not been playing well or something. Do you bench him? I mean, aren't they in the middle of a trying to clinch a Champions League spot?
I don't know. I'm sure that they're probably in that position. I know that they lost.
It says here Cristiano Ronaldo was benched by is it
Juventus?
Juventus ahead of their match against Bologna. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
As the Turin-based side sought to clinch a Champions League spot, so they're benching him as they're trying to clinch a Champions League.
What does this mean? It says Ronaldo is not reported to be injured, so the shock moves seem to be tactical.
Yeah.
What's the tactic behind it?
Maybe he's
tactic behind not playing Cristiano Ronaldo.
Maybe has he lost it?
It's the same tactics as trading Tobias Harris for a bag of balls. that ain't it.
Load management, what's going on?
I got to see how bad Bologna is.
Yeah. By the way, game ball to the Gator tennis team, winning the national championship right here in Orlando at the USTA Training Center. How excited were you when you saw that? Adam Reardon, the Gator tennis team, wins a school first men's national championship.
I don't know who is the men's coach. Is that Roland Thornquist? Does he?
Brian Shelton.
Okay, all right.
Is the men's coach? Yeah.
Well, good for him because I know Roland Thornquist has won, I believe, a national championship on the women's side.
Yeah, Jeremy Foley hired Brian Shelton in 2012. 9 years later, he wins the national championship. Foley knew how to hire tennis coaches. If only his football coaching hires.
It's the only. Really, honestly, at the end of the day, it's the only sport he looks up and though he can say, "Well, I was there when we hired Urban Meyer." I think most people knew that the Bernie Match and connection was what got Urban to Florida. But you think about all of his other hires.
Well, he did make one of the greatest coaching hires of all time in Billy Donovan.
No, I know. Every other sport you look at, any hire he's made has worked out, or at least has at least one in the bank that he can look at and say.
Although he does get credit for Urban Meyer. I mean, that was on his watch.
It was on his watch. But you know what I'm saying.
It was on his watch. Yeah, but he also hired McElwain and Zook and
Yeah, no, you're not going to hit a home run with all of them. But the Urban Meyer like gets to kind of straighten his jacket a little bit, gets pulled away because Bernie Matchin was the president at the time. For folks that don't know, Bernie Matchin was the president at Utah, came over, and then Urban Meyer followed.
Well, he did hire Steve Spurrier.
Who?
Jeremy Foley.
No, he didn't. Did he?
You didn't know that?
No, I thought it was the.
You're not going to give him credit for Steve Spurrier?
No, I thought it was the other AD.
It was Bill Arnspark.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like, hold on, no. Listen, because I listened to that argument for 10 years. Are you kidding me? I was like, there's no way that guy.
Well, yeah, Foley's hoping everybody's memory's so bad that it's Spurrier.
Kind of melded the two. He's just hoping there's not a lot of people that recognize Bernie Matchin came from Utah about 4 months before Urban showed up.
Right. Finally, how about a game ball for the Tampa Bay Lightning? They clobbered the Florida Panthers Saturday night to take a 3-1 lead in that first-round Stanley Cup playoff series. They beat the Panthers 6-2. Give me some Lightning.
McDonough holds. Left circle to Kucherov. Kucherov in the offensive zone. Quick. There's Chernak right point. Fire score! Pull on the tip! Ruda has a little room on the right wing. Clears it down the ice. Stamkos is going to pursue it to the offensive zone right corner. In front, Killorn! Score! Killorn another! Rudas takes a left point shot that's blocked.
Don't stop now!
Into the left circle. Centers it, blocking it is Savard. And this one is over. I know it's probably not going to be the biggest storyline, but it should be, Phil, because the Lightning scored 6.
Yeah.
Don't stop now!
Is that Phil Esposito?
It might have been Phil Esposito.
Yeah.
By the reason he probably said that is the Panthers got a little dirty. I mean, they fell way behind. They got a little dirty.
Chippy.
Yeah, there was Kucherov got slashed in the knee with a stick.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, he was down. So the Panthers got a little chippy, and the Lightning just blew them out. Finally, anybody else have any game balls and goop balls?
I was going to give a game ball to Alec Burks, even though the Knicks lost, of course, but he came out of nowhere and really supported the team.
You don't get game balls.
Really supported
He
the team.
supported the team. You got to think about it. It's usually Julius Randle, RJ. Now we have another scorer coming out here, especially in the playoffs for the Knicks. It's incredible.
One good game. Now we got to say, now we're
you don't get a game ball.
Of great scores.
You don't get
you know
game
what?
balls for losing.
I don't want to hear it because you guys have been giving game balls to the Magic for the past 15 weeks, and they've been losing straight. And now, since I want to show some love to somebody that doesn't get the love.
What's his name again? So I can Google him? I never heard of him.
You never heard of him? It's Adam Reardon.
Nobody's heard of him either.
All right, keep those game balls and goop balls coming in on our text line. Text those into 50857. Somebody just gave a game ball to Orlando City for remaining unbeaten. They get a 1-0 victory over Toronto FC over the weekend. So, yeah, Orlando City, they definitely deserve a game ball, as do the Orlando Pride. Straight ahead, it is Sound Off. We are getting ready to react to the hottest sound of the sports weekend. But first, we have your chance right now at $1,000.
Now.
Sound Off brought to you by our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line 50857, where somebody just gave a game ball to Gus Malzahn and UCS football team for arguably the #1 transfer portal class in the nation. He got another one. He got another Auburn transfer over the weekend. We'll talk about that later in the show. What do we have for Sound Off, Kelly Velez?
Sound Off! Sound Off! I don't think I've ever had an experience like that, so thank you for that. Slightly unnerving, but exceptionally awesome, so thank you. And for the way you've supported the game of golf for so many years, going all the way back to the 91 Ryder Cup. This place has been a big part of the game of golf, so thank you, everybody here at Kiowa Island and South Carolina.
The fans were absolutely loving Phil Mickelson over this weekend, folks. He became the oldest person at 50 to win a PGA championship, Mike. Incredible, incredible.
It was incredible, and you heard him thanking the fans there who engulfed him as he's coming up 18, and it got rowdy, and he said a little unnerving. Stay off the course, by the way,
Wait,
if you're a fan.
Real quick, so listen to this.
Get in the hole!
Going nuts.
I mean, they said there were 10,000 there. That was the limited attendance. It looked like there were about 20,000 there to me. All right? They were selling, you better believe they were selling more tickets than 10,000.
Listen, and you guys are way more golf savvy than I am, but that's the first time I've ever seen something like that, whether it's the crowd participation or just him being engulfed by all the fans. It was incredible.
Because it never happens,
right?
That's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen.
Stay off.
Stay off my lawn.
I think it's something that should be encouraged from this point forward.
Oh, stop it!
In only in major championships, as the leader is going up the 18th
you want every tournament to be the Phoenix Open?
Yes, because
a bunch of drunken, obnoxious golf fans. Don't we have that? Don't we have enough of that at other sports?
For this reason,
can't golf be the one sport where we have some civility,
some decorum?
Yes.
For this reason, Mike.
What?
You know exactly what the Phoenix Open is. I could name 10 other events on the PGA Tour that you couldn't tell me where it was. Now, Phoenix Open sort of gives that away, but you understand. you understand. How
where
special
is the Tucson
that
Open?
They'll give you a guess. But you understand that atmosphere makes that event special. So why would we want all of them to be special like that and fun and
then
exciting?
it wouldn't be special.
Well,
then it'd be like every other sport where the fans get too drunk and too obnoxious.
And you wouldn't have 25-year-olds excited about your sport for the next, I don't know, 50 years.
Sound off!
Oh, absolutely. If a guy throws a no-no, it's great for us. I'm talking about it more in you asked me if I thought about him. These no-hitters, I think in general in the game, I think that's really more of the talk is that, where does this get better? Because it's great for your team when a guy throws a no-no. It's great for that guy. It's a great accomplishment. But when there's so many so early, strikeouts are at an all-time high, things like that. So it tells you that there are some issues within the game that need to be addressed. And they're going to take a while because this started 15, 16 years ago with, the swing changes and the philosophy changes with all the analytics of the 3-run homer and all that stuff. And so it's been coming and it's been building. And now we're at a point where I think it's getting so much more attention because it's just a game that sometimes is unwatchable. You see guys you talk to and they don't even like watching games because there's nothing that goes on in them.
Marlins manager Don Mattingly talking about exactly what we've been outlining for the past week. The amount of no-nos in the MLB. Is it affecting the game of baseball? The offense is doing horrible. What do you think about what he had to say, Adam?
He said exactly what I said last week. It's the analytics that have told teams, hey, how you win is swinging for the fence, the 3-run home run, all that stuff. The data that people were putting into this and major league managers no longer being able to manage. It was the Rays, right? Didn't the Rays have to pull a starter from the World Series because the analytics told them that even though this guy's pitching well, you got to... These guys are not managing by gut, by feel. They're managing by these analytical numbers, and the offense is sort of the same way.
Says the game's unwatchable. Talking about his own sport.
I got bad news for you, Don. You're signed up to watch them all, okay?
Yeah. You know what else he was saying there? He was saying what we need to get back to is swing level and run like the devil.
There we go.
Yeah.
What was the other one? What was the other one too, Mike?
I want a pitcher, not an underwear snitcher.
or if we're not going to do all that, if we could take the juice and bust them loose, okay? Because that was also good for our sport as well.
Yeah, take some of that stuff Phil Mickelson's been taking. How about that?
Sound off. Dame will bring it up. The Blazers in front by 7. Campazzo defending Dame tightly as he gets it across midcourt. Spins around him, crosses over, bounce pass to Nurk, hands it back to Dame around the screen. Three-pointer on the way is good.
Listen, I'm a big fan of the Trailblazers. That's why I wanted to play this one specifically. I wanted to see what you guys think the odds are for the Trailblazers,
one
Mike.
playoff game. Guys' team loses one playoff game. Now all of a sudden he's
already a Trailblazer
big fan of the Trailblazers.
Yeah, dropping the Knicks, going to the Trailblazers.
What's wrong with that?
That sounds like me. Bandwagon Velez.
It's not a bandwagon. It's true. You can show love to others.
I totally agree. And especially Damian Lillard. I mean, Damian Lillard, you want to talk about, again, it's because he plays in Portland, I understand. But if this guy played for your New York Knickerbockers, he'd be one of the biggest stars in the league, and he is one of the biggest stars in the league. It's just the fact that he's stuck in Portland. He chose to re-sign with Portland, which I admire him for, because he's a hero of sport. He'll have a statue in Portland when he retires, whether they win a championship or not. I would love this. I'm with you. I would love to see the Trailblazers do something in the playoffs.
He's like one of those that we spoke of, Bradley Beal, things of that nature, who've been performing for quite some time. But for whatever reason, like you said, it has a lot to do with him where he's at now. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And also, you're playing a team that has possibly the MVP of the league, and they steal that first game.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sound off. Obviously, we have an unbelievably special relationship. He's like a brother, man. He's like legit older brother. I tried to mimic and do everything he did. That whole TB12 method, and I love him till day I die for it, because, you know, it helped me get to where I got. And, you know, he trolls me, but let him keep trolling. And you know, I'm a one-team guy.
Julian Edelman saying he's a one-team guy after discussing his relationship with Tom Brady. Really?
Tom Brady trolling him, trying to get him to sign with the Buccaneers. Huh? You think about that, Reardon?
He was talking about Mac Jones the other day and all that. I was like, wait a second, what are you doing with the Pats?
Well, I am the interesting Tom Brady doesn't hear no very often, apparently, because every guy he calls and says, "Hey, why don't you be a part of this team?" Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if Bill Belichick is the next head coach. Robert Kraft is going to buy the Buccaneers. Yeah, but I mean, Edelman's a guy who says, "Listen, my career is done. I mean, I put a bow on it. I'll be a huge fan of yours forever." But I think that he's done playing football.
Plus, it's not like the Bucs need Julian Edelman. Their receiving core is fine right now.
I think they've done well for themselves. There's no question.
Sound off.
And that's the sound off for today, ladies and gentlemen.
What do we have coming up next? Coming up next, you're never gonna guess who has the leading jersey sale in the NFL. Could it be a backup tight end for the Jaguars? That's next on Open Mic.
More Open Mic
We were just talking about a game ball for UCF and Coach Gus Malzahn. They got a commitment over the weekend from another Auburn player, cornerback transfer Marco Damio. He is the 10th player to have either committed or joined the UCF program out of the portal since Gus Malzahn arrived. He's he's a former 4-star prospect out of Houston. Man, Gus Malzahn is working that portal, especially with Auburn players, which isn't surprising, obviously. He got who was the big defensive lineman? He got Big Cat, the defensive lineman from Auburn.
Was that Bryant?
Yeah, Big Cat Bryant. Big Cat Bryant. So Gus Malzahn getting it done in the transfer portal. I wonder how good UCF's going to be this year.
Oh, man. After all that, they better be...
I bet they're going to be pretty damn good this year. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, they return Dylan Gabriel at the quarterback position. And so you got to feel pretty good.
Plus, even though they lost some receivers, they got a bunch of receivers as well. They'll have running back talent, obviously.
Yeah, and you've added SEC caliber defensive players.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that normally a guy comes in year number one. You say, all right, let's see how it goes. There's going to be a growth period. Listen, Gus Malzahn, this is not the pressure of the SEC.
Might be, maybe that UCF pressure cooker, maybe there's something to it. Huh?
Yeah, listen, you got all these SEC players. Guess what you got now? SEC pressure. How about that? There's no acclimation period for you any longer. They're expecting results and expecting it now.
Absolutely.
You got an outside Heisman Trophy contender at the quarterback position. You've recruited the portal well, so these are all players ready to play, probably ready to fill some holes that you think you may have on this team. Yeah, they're not. I don't think fans are interested in waiting around.
Yeah, don't go 7-5, Gus.
Don't do that.
Don't go 7-5. Yeah, go 7-5, and then Jeff Lebby leads Ole Miss's offense to you definitely don't want that.
Don't want that.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I was almost kidding when I said a couple weeks ago that if the Jaguars sign Tim Tebow, he'll sell more jerseys than Trevor Lawrence. He is. Mm-hmm. His number 80, again, this was as of Saturday, I think. His number 85 backup tight end jersey for the Jaguars was the leading jersey seller in the National Football League. Are you surprised by that?
Nope.
Again, we talk about Tebow has a cult following. So I wrote a column about Tebow over the weekend. You can still read that at OrlandoSentinel.com, by the way. Yeah. And it was about what we were talking about last week, about there seems to be a lot of people rooting against Tebow. A lot of people talking about white privilege and the Colin Kaepernick and why is Tebow getting a chance when others aren't. And all of that. And I wrote a column about why do people, there's a lot of Tebow hate. Is it just Tebow fatigue? Is it the fact that he's a Christian and he wears his religion on his sleeve? Or is it like Adam Reardon, who just thinks he's taken up a spot that's more deserving for somebody else? Adam Reardon put a meme on Facebook.
But getting crushed.
Put a meme on Facebook. Explain the meme.
The meme is a picture of some guy with a knife about to attack another guy. And it says, why are you attacking Tim Tebow for his faith? And then the other guy's backing up with his hands up, and it says, dude, I'm just saying he's 33 years old, and I don't think he can play tight end in the NFL,
But in his meme, Adam had
put my name and Bianchi's name.
Yeah, so I'm the guy with the knife, right?
Right, yeah, attacking me because I said the guy can't play. And you're going, why are you hating on him? I'm not hating on Tebow.
And then Adam said, my next 2 weeks of Sports Talk Radio.
And that's the exact dynamic right there. That's it.
Listen, and people, I had one guy jump in there and go, I don't understand what the problem is. The NFL needs more players like Tebow. He's a good guy. Who cares if he can play or not?
Well, I don't agree with that.
But that's how polarizing this becomes is, who cares if Tim Tebow can play tight end or not? And I go, no, that's my exact point. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
I've never cared in sports if you pray and or who you pray to. You can be Tim Tebow or Muhammad Ali. Don't matter to me. Or an atheist. I don't know any famous atheist players, but I'm sure there are some. Doesn't matter to me one bit. Can you play? Can you help your team? So the idea that Tim Tebow has the
number one
selling jersey right now. You said cult following. It's not a cult following. He's got a Christian following. And for as good as Tom Clancy has ever been as a writer, Stephen King has ever been as a writer. You know what book sells more than any of those guys
Tim
combined?
Tebow's books.
The Bible. Okay, the Bible.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. I've said this before, and it's one of the reasons that people laugh at me when I say Tim Tebow's going to be president someday. He's already got. I mean, you want to talk about the Christian, conservative right base? He's already got that. He does.
Somebody said that a long time. It may have been you, but this may have been a discussion we had. I just would love to hear Tim Tebow talk about the economy and things like that. But they won't care. Like I think at this point we recognize that we don't care about it.
Oh, I wrote this column over the weekend, and it's like I got I can't even tell you how many maybe up to 100 emails way to go, Bianchi!
Right.
You tell it like it is. It's unbelievable, the Tebow support out there.
Mike has 3 pieces that he writes where they're like, that's it, you're out of the Gator Club. That's it. No more, you'll never be invited ever again. I'm going to boycott anything you ever do. And then Mike brings himself right back in. Yeah. Right back in. All right, you're back in the good graces of Gator Nation.
In fact, I got a text over the weekend from the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. They want me to come
have you.
Yeah, they want me to come talk to them.
Mike looks up and is like, I got these mortgage payments going on. I gotta get back into the circuit. How am I gonna do that?
Could use some speaking engagements. Let me write a pro Tebow column.
Hey, maybe if you get the Tebow prices on your speaking engagement, that'll serve a lot of solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I could retire if that happened. So anyway, again, it's a phenomenon. It really is. It is a phenomenon and has been since he was in college and hasn't let up. I mean, when he was in minor league baseball, he sold more jerseys than anybody in minor league baseball. People buy what this guy sells.
Yeah, no,
books, children's books. He writes a kid's book, best-selling. He writes, obviously Christian faith book, best-selling, New York Times bestseller.
He's on what? ESPN, the SEC network that does hits for Good Morning America. People recognize that people want to see this guy. No question about it. And somebody in Jacksonville, said people want to see this guy. My concerns are strictly football related. Again, all the other stuff on the outside looking in, I'll let other people discuss that stuff. For me, it's always been more about the football part of it and how this will move forward. Because does Urban Meyer want to be the guy? Because at the end of the day now, Urban Meyer is in charge of cutting players. Remember, he kind of put it on the scouting staff?
No, that's Urban's job.
Yeah, it's Urban's job. So if Tim Tebow doesn't make it, it's because Urban Meyer said he's not good enough to make it. And I don't know that Urban Meyer wants to be that guy. And so I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, but you're right about that. If Urban Meyer lets him stay on the team and he's not deserving, that's when it could hurt the locker room.
I saw video footage of Tim Tebow walking to and from the first practice, and they didn't let people in there. If you look at it close, and I'm always trying to read between lines, forget about what you say. I'm looking at kind of how you say it and whatnot. If you look at that video on the way to practice and on the way from practice, as players are sort of grouped up with other players and they're laughing and joking on the way to the field and stuff, where's Tim Tebow? By himself, and he has to look over at a member of the coaching staff, and he's chatting with a member of the coaching staff versus amongst the players. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I on the way to and from practice, he wasn't lumped in with players, chatting amongst players. He was by himself and or speaking with a coach from the coaching staff. Again,
well, first of all, that was a brief little snippet.
I know. I said.
And secondly, maybe. Again, he's Tim Tebow. He's a celebrity. Maybe the other players are a little intimidated by being in his presence.
Get out of here.
Maybe. Okay, you can read it like that. I just read it more like, okay, this is going to be a tough sell to the players that have been inside that locker room for a little bit if they don't think he's worthy. Now,
what that tells me is that maybe that energy is already there, which is why you see him doing his thing on the side with the coaches.
So. All right, straight ahead, going to get back into some game balls and goop balls. You can text in your game balls and goop balls from the sports weekend. Also, Phil Mickelson wins the PGA Championship at age 50. Is it easier to excel as an older athlete these days? We're going to get into that topic next on Open Mic. Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog. Sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, joined as always by Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect, and of course executive producer Kelly Velez, the smooth operator.
We're in the building, y'all.
Together we are Open Mic, the troika of sports talk radio excellence right here in our home of Central Florida. You can listen to us on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD 101.1-2. Also, you can watch us right now on social media. Go to YouTube, search for Open Mic live stream, and there we are. Next chance at $1,000 coming up at 8:10 a.m. this morning, presented by International Diamond Center. Before we get into Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship, what about the NBA with their preferential treatment of LeBron James? Charles Barkley called out the NBA before Sunday's game. I don't know if you guys saw this. This story broke, I think, Friday. All right, LeBron James had violated the NBA's health and safety protocols. All right, earlier last week when he attended a promotional event with rapper Drake and actor Michael B. Jordan for a tequila brand that LeBron is an investor in. Now, some players might get suspended for breaking health and safety protocol, but not LeBron James. He was playing Sunday in the Lakers' playoff loss to the Phoenix Suns. Here was Charles Barkley before Sunday's game.
Listen, I love Adam Silver. Rest in peace, David Stern, the best commissioner in sport. The NBA ain't got the balls to zero. When I read that, I just, like sometimes you read stuff, you just start laughing. Hey, the NBA, they ain't got no chance of suspending LeBron James. Like if it was a nobody, they would put him in health and safety protocols. Ain't no way LeBron James is gonna be sit out because of health and safety protocols. When I read that, I just started laughing. LeBron James is playing Sunday.
Guaranteed. He was right. LeBron James was playing Sunday. Didn't matter, though, because the Phoenix Suns ended up beating the Lakers. Yay! All the Lakers haters rejoice, all right? So we're going to get into this topic during the blast coming up. I want to get into Phil Mickelson, though. The year of the old guy in sports continues. Tom Brady obviously wins the Super Bowl at age 43. Phil Mickelson at age 50 years old. First major winner, 50 years old or older. He wins the PGA Championship over the weekend. Here's what it sounded like.
Mickelson for birdie now to get back to 7 under. Huge crowd gathered around this green. Put his way, working up to the cup, and he walked it right in. Back in his stance, pitches it just short, hops up there, working up towards the hole, up to the cup. And what a spectacular play for Phil Mickelson. He will tap that in for birdie. From left to right as that works down the slope. Left to right, up to the cup. And that stops 6 inches away, but Phil Mickelson's going to tap in for a par. He is going to shoot a 1/73 in the final round, but Phil Mickelson creates and sets professional golf history, the oldest to win a major championship. Phil Mickelson embraces his brother Tim. Phil Mickelson is the champion of the 103rd PGA Championship.
This is just an incredible feeling because I just believed that it was possible, but yet everything was saying it wasn't. And I hope that others find that inspiration. It might take a little extra work, a little bit harder effort to maintain physically or maintain the skills, but gosh, is it worth it in the end? And I'm so appreciative to be holding this Wanamaker trophy.
Okay, so that was Phil Mickelson. Obviously, he is a fan favorite. Pure chaos broke out on the 18th green, or on the 18th fairway as he's making his charge up to green. He pretty much won the tournament by then, and the fans just engulfed Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka, his playing partner. And do you have the clip from Phil talking about that? Do we have that clip?
I don't think I've ever had an experience like that, so thank you for that. Slightly unnerving, but exceptionally awesome. So thank you. and for the way you've supported the game of golf for so many years, going all the way back to the 91 Ryder Cup. This place has been a big part of the game of golf. So thank you, everybody here at Kiawah Island and South Carolina.
So that was Phil, obviously thanking the fans. Adam, I mentioned this early this morning. I want to reiterate it now. I just watching Phil Mickelson over the weekend, obviously nobody expected him to win the tournament. It took a special exemption for him to even get in the tournament. I think he was ranked 115th in the world coming in. He hasn't won in 2 years. But just looking at his physique, he looks more sculpted than he's ever been, even though he's age 50. And as an old guy myself, all right, I know. I mean, if I work out, all right. I have this. I put this testosterone gel on that the doctor have prescribed because my testosterone isn't as high as it once did. That there are so many things now that help you essentially keep from getting old. I just think Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady, with all the nutrition, all the supplements, all the chemicals, if you will, there's a lot of ways for you to sort of curtail the anti-aging process.
What's the old saying? Father time is undefeated? Yeah. That will always remain true. Yeah. But we're putting up a much better fight today than we did 35 years ago. No question about it. You were talking about what Mickelson accomplished, and we talked about Tom Brady, what he accomplished. And I was been sitting here trying to think of what's more impressive? Is there anything more impressive than what those two guys have done? Obviously, Mickelson at 50, he's playing an individual sport. Brady's playing a much more physical sport. I've got one for you that we forgot about. How about George Foreman winning the heavyweight championship of the world at 45 years of age? Yeah. Okay, that's somewhere age-wise right in the middle, and he's playing a physical sport, of the physical sport of boxing, where you're getting punched in the face.
Although there were, again, I'm not taking anything away. The heavyweight division was just absolutely abysmal.
Well, I'd beat Michael Moore, who had beaten Evander Holyfield. So, that wasn't too big a stretch.
Yeah.
But still, but what people have been able to do at a later age today, heck, even I feel like even myself, I'm in my 40s, but I think I feel like I remember my parents in their 40s weren't as active as I am today, and so maybe it's just just through nutrition and different things that we have that we can take. I personally don't take anything, but there is that option nowadays that people didn't have 30 years ago.
Yeah, man. Good Lord. You have these anti-aging clinics now where you can, and I'm not saying Phil Mickelson, is on HGH and all this stuff, but it's unbelievable the stuff that's out there now to sort of curtail the aging process.
And look, physically, there's ways to make yourself not look as old.
Botox?
And there's a ton, there's all kinds of stuff, and then I think there's ways to not feel as old either, and just sort of, as we said, sort of put up a better fight against Father Time.
I've been thinking about getting some Botox on my bald forehead. I'm getting some wrinkles up there. What do you think? A little Botox for the dog? A little bulldog Botox?
Bulldog Botox is insane.
Huh?
Bulldog Botox?
Yeah, I'm going to get a little Botox. Yeah. Let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club. You feel that?
I can feel it.
We're about to blast off.
Just hook it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the blast on this Monday. The blast brought to you by Frank Gate Services. When you have a plumbing or electrical problem, you need help now. Go to frankgateservices.com, folks. All right, let's start it all off with the open mic thought-provoking daily poll. What's more amazing, Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship at 50 or Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl at 43?
I'm going to let Adam Reardon go first here.
I'll always err on the side of the individual sport because that means it was all on him. He didn't have teammates to bail him out should he had made a bad throw. Defense couldn't bow up for Phil Mickelson, in a tightly contested game and, down the stretch. So I'll always err on the side of the individual. And then, oh, by the way, he's actually 10 years older.
Well, he's not 10 years older. He's 7 years older than Tom Brady. I understand what you're saying, and originally I sort of agree with you. But the more I think about it, I'm going to go Brady here. Again, he's playing football, all right? Football, the most violent game out there. He's got defensive linemen chasing him. He's having to, he's also playing against much younger players. I realize he has teammates to help him, but to me, if you're playing football, quarterback, the hardest position out there at age 43 years old, that's more impressive. Here's all you need to know about golf and the athletic ability it takes to play golf. And I'm not talking about golf at the highest level, but you remember, who David Lamb is?
I know David. Yes.
David Lamb might be the most unhealthy man in America. Big, fat radio guy in Jacksonville. Huge head. Andre the Giant-sized head on a 5'4" fat body, all right?
He's as wide as he is tall.
I once challenged David Lamb to a golf match, all right? And he absolutely annihilated me, all right? And this was when I was like in, my early 30s and was in really good shape. And David Lamb, who played golf every day, he just annihilated me. If a fat guy like that can be good at something, it doesn't take that much athletic ability.
I just Googled him. He's round. He's definitely round.
I used to call him the round mound of expound.
Yeah. That's funny.
With 61% of the vote, Tom Brady at age 43 wins that one.
Mm-hmm.
Open mic supplemental poll number 1. Did you love or hate the loud, unruly crowd that cheered Phil Mickelson to victory at the PGA Championship? Loved it or hated it?
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. This is golf, the one sport left where you're supposed to have civility, you're supposed to have decorum.
What is okay, Boomer?
It's the one sport where you essentially govern yourself. You call yourself for cheating, all right? You don't flop in golf. You don't try to get a call when it's not merited. Golf is a sport that's supposed to be civil, and I don't like drunken, obnoxious fans yelling and chanting out, lefty, lefty. No, that's for football and basketball, not for golf.
File that take into the same place that we put things like, games shouldn't start this late because it's hard for me to stay up the entire evening.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why baseball's not popular anymore, because they play the World Series at night.
You know when baseball started going downhill? When they put those lights in at Wrigley Field. That's what happened. They started deciding, hey, let's play games at night.
We do need more day games is what we need.
No, I loved it. You know what it says? It says that, hey, listen, you're bringing in a younger generation, fans that'll stay interested in the sport. Maybe find a new hero, not named Tiger Woods, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm all for it. Obviously, as long as you don't do something really dumb. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Because I like that iconic shot of Phil Mickelson walking up the 18th green with fans wanting to be a part of it. I love that
fans
stuff.
Fans should watch. They should not be a part of it, all right? They don't need to storm the court, they don't need to storm the field, and they don't need to storm the fairway.
By the way, how many White Claw cans do you think they left on the green before?
Good Lord.
With 81% of the vote, loved it, wins that one.
81%?
Wow.
81% loved it.
That surprises me.
That's shocking.
Right?
Listen, open mic supplemental poll number 2. Do you think the NBA gave LeBron James special treatment by not suspending him for violating the league's health and safety protocols? Absolutely yes or no? Not at all.
How could this not be 100%?
Of course.
How could this?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! It's close. It's close.
It's close. Well, how could
it's close to that? It's close to that.
It's close to that.
Of course, they gave him preferential treatment. He's LeBron James. Again, he's the commissioner of the league. All right, so he's not going to suspend himself. He runs the league. We all know that. If that had been, Wendell Carter Jr. in the playoffs or R.J. Hampton playing for the Magic, of course they would have been suspended for violating protocol.
He walked into Adam Silver's office like Dave Chappelle, like, I'm LeBron James. you don't suspend LeBron James in the playoffs. How this is not 100-0, I got no idea, but there you go for it.
93%. Absolutely yes. All right, preferential treatment. Shout out to LeBron James for pulling the LeBron James card. Open mic supplemental poll number 3. Which marquee NBA team do you think is in the most trouble after losing Game 1 of their playoff series? Lakers, Clippers, Knicks, or Nuggets?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a very good one.
Ooh. Yeah, we didn't even put the Jazz in there, did we?
Jazz are not up.
Yeah.
Can I say Clippers? I'm going to go with Clippers first because I think that they're emotionally fragile after last playoffs, and they could blame it on the bubble all they want. They got playoff P and all that stuff. But this was a team that was expected to win the title last year, and it was the Lakers who instead did it. And then there were question marks about that team and their cohesion in the playoffs, and they blew the 3-1 lead. And that's the team to me that I think is the most emotionally fragile. I think there's other teams. I mean, you're talking about the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks. I mean, they're playing against the Hawks. What do the Hawks know about winning playoff series here lately? So I think that they definitely still have a shot.
I don't think. I mean, we don't even have a Jazz in the poll. They lost to 8 seed Memphis. I think Utah will come back and win that series. But I'm gonna go with the Lakers. LeBron and Anthony Davis. I mean, first of all, they're a 7 seed, all right, and they're playing the 2 seed, the Phoenix Suns. And I realize Phoenix has never or hasn't done anything in a decade, but Phoenix has some good young players. I don't know how healthy Anthony Davis and LeBron are. Obviously, LeBron's got a lot of miles on his tires, so I'm going to go the Lakers. Are in the most trouble.
So LeBron is fragile right now.
Fragile.
With 59% of the vote, yes, the Lakers. I like that. Okay.
That's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Open mic supplemental poll number 4. Do you like the NBA's idea of a midseason tournament to help juice up the doldrums of the regular season? Yes or no?
Yes. I don't know why. All right. I don't know. Here's
it's the
why.
Same team's playing against the same team. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Why? I don't know why.
Okay. Here's why. Here's why. Say they have a midseason tournament, and again, I don't know what you really get if you win this midseason tournament. It's not like you make the playoffs if you win the midseason tournament, but the middle of the NBA season is boring. It's mundane. It's monotonous. At least if you have a midseason tournament with some sort of trophy or ramifications, at least it gives you something else to talk about and watch, for crying out loud.
Wait, so real quick, there's no real specifics on it. They're just discussing this, right?
Yeah, I don't think they don't have any real specifics about how the tournament's going to be run, but Adam Silver, the commissioner, wants this because, again, TV ratings in the NBA not been good. They want something to sort of juice up the ratings. I'd watch it. If the Magic were in a tournament with a chance to win something, sort of like your sport of soccer, you win some tournament.
It's not even sort of like
you win the U.S. Open Cup, and everybody goes, "Hey, we got a trophy."
So I mean, the U.S. Open Cup, the equivalent would be that the Lakeland Magic get a chance to compete against the New York Knicks. I would probably watch that more than I'd watch the Orlando Magic playing the Knicks, more so than I would in a regular season game, just because you told me, hey, it's the mid-season tournament where you get nothing for it. Unless, of course, you built in that automatic berth into the playoffs.
Remember the MLS's back tournament last year at the beginning of the MLS season during the pandemic? And Orlando City made it to the final, and Orlando City fans were all excited, even though that's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, but you were just watching that because the MLS was in fact back.
Yeah,
I mean,
good point.
that's why I was
a bad comparison. Never mind.
I just think it's a terrible idea the way it sounds today. If they tweak it, you get an automatic berth into the playoffs, then I'm for it.
Yeah, but what if a tanking team gets in and doesn't want to make the... No, we refuse. We refuse the automatic bid.
Oh, yeah. Or what if the Lakers lock it up and then for the back half of the season, LeBron plays every fourth day? We're already in the playoffs. Don't need to stress myself out.
So see, 66% of the vote says no. They are not fans of the tournament idea. Open mic, would you rather poll with Memorial Day right around the corner? Would you, if you had to eat one, would you rather eat a hamburger or hot dog? What we going with, fellas?
No, it's easy. A hamburger.
Yeah, we can do a hamburger cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. Plus, there's so many good burgers now. Plus, you can go to Publix and get the blue cheese infused hamburger and bacon infused hamburger. Yeah, you can, even if you don't like meat, you can get a Beyond Burger now. Get the Beyond Meat. I mean, the burger technology,
Burger Tech,
has been unbelievable. Is there a restaurant called Burger Tech? Maybe we should start one.
Matter of fact, we're gonna clip this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit the dump button so nobody here.
Got Burger Fi. How about Burger Tech?
Yeah, I'll tell you a
Burger You.
I could tell you a Burger Fi story off the air. I mean, I was like, super thumbs up. It was a good story. So anybody thinks I'm bashing, it's not. It's actually a good story.
We'll get to that. 85% hamburger, of course. That is the blast today, brought to you by Frank Gay Services. A live operator is waiting for you, and a licensed plumber is ready to help today with the solution to your problem. Ladies and gentlemen, fast! That's the Frank Gay way. FrankGayServices.com.
All right, text in your game balls and goop balls or call them in. You can text them in 50857. You can give us a call, 407-916-8255. Straight ahead, a college football story. The ACC announces a record amount of revenue distribution, but it's still 20 million short of the SEC. That's next on Open Mic.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000.
no.
Into the left circle, centers it, blocking it is Savard, and this one is over. I know it's probably not going to be the biggest storyline, but it should be, Phil, because the Lightning scored 6.
My Tampa Bay Lightning getting it done. Had that taste, Florida Panthers, with your dirty play. Slashing my man Kucherov in the knee. 6-2. The Lightning beat the Florida Panthers. They take a 3-1 lead in that first round Stanley Cup playoff series. The Bulldogs in the studio this morning. Mark Daniels walking in, getting ready for the bridge. Got Adam Reardon here. With his hat on right side out instead of backwards. By the way,
it was 2 returns, by the way, the return of the Bulldog and the return of the hat, because that hat's been going for the past week.
Yeah,
I got up late. I had a long weekend this weekend, so this is.
Yeah, he got I guess Reardon got a haircut last week. He wanted to show off his haircut.
Yeah, but
is that what it was?
Yeah, but look at it. That's what it looks like. This morning, I had a late jump to the day, double snooze bar today. I had a double at the bar this morning. Double snooze bar.
I don't use my snooze alarm anymore.
Yeah, I generally don't. But today, I mean, I was out in the sun for about 8 soccer games this weekend. So
Yeah.
I was like, a little bit gassed.
All right, game balls and goof balls. You can text them in the 50857. Somebody just gave a goofball to the refs in the Lightning Panther series for the scuzzy cheap shots they allowed to happen against Tampa Bay. There was some dirty play at the end of that. I didn't actually watch the game. I'm not really a hockey fan, even though I play one on the radio. All right?
Scuzzy. I like that word.
You make it sound good, Mike. You make it sound good.
Scuzzy cheap shots. Yeah. Everybody's giving a game ball to Phil Mickelson this morning, who looks as sculpted and as in shape as he ever has at age 50. He must be going to one of those anti-aging clinics. I think he is.
He has like the good tan. The skin is glistening. He's looking good.
He was rubbing that CBD oil on him back at the Masters.
Yeah.
And he does the gum. Yeah. He's got all kinds of stuff, you know.
There's all sorts of stuff you can use these days.
All kinds of stuff.
He's probably using some of my androgel testosterone gel as well.
Are those gummy bears? Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
No wonder he's not nervous anymore, huh?
That's when he said, like, I was a little unnerved. I'm like, stop lying.
Well,
he didn't even know they were there.
He did say yesterday that one of the issues he's had over the last couple of years wasn't physical, it's mental. He couldn't focus for 18 holes. Now he's taking those gummies. He's focused.
He's like,
man.
Phil, did you see the crowd out there? He's like,
what
wait,
crowd?
hold on.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm good now.
Good for Phil Mickelson for winning the PGA Championship. Oldest golfer ever to win a major now. Adam Reardon thought it was Jack Nicklaus was the oldest, but everybody knows it was Julius Boros.
Everybody knew that except for me.
1968, Julius Boros won a major at the age of 48 years old. All right, wanted to get to this story real quick. I know Mark Daniels will add some knowledge to this. So the ACC announced its annual revenue distribution over the weekend. All right, and they're bragging. Oh, we had the highest revenue distribution ever. What was it? The ACC revenue distribution record $497.2 million for the 2019-2020 financial year. That's not the COVID year. That was the year prior to COVID. So the ACC distributed $497.2 million for the first time. Each ACC school top $30 million in distribution. They get $30 million. And then I'm reading through the story and the SEC distributed $657.7 million. Kelly Velez, you have a calculator on that cell phone you have? All right, here's what I want you to do. I'm not very good at math, all right?
Let's check it out.
All right, so calculate, do $657.7 million minus $497.2 million. All right? And what do we have?
It was minus
490. Just do 657 minus 497.
160.
Okay, so $160 million in difference. All right, now divide 160 by 14.
That would be 11.4.
Okay, so SEC teams are getting $11.4 million more.
SEC schools
are getting $11.1 million more than ACC schools in their revenue distribution. So $11.1 million times 10 is what?
That'd be like $100 million, no?
Yeah, over $100 million. Yeah. So in 10-year period, the Gators have $100 million more in their coffers than Florida State and Miami does, just on revenue distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to grow.
At the schools, and then so you got to figure out, did the ACC have as many teams that are participating? Like, does that $11 million now get divided up again amongst more, maybe,
Well, they both have 14 teams.
Well, but I'm talking about like sports that the school finances.
Mm-hmm.
No, that money's going specifically to the team.
Yeah, that just goes right into the school
to the school, but then the school has to spend it on all of their sports. It didn't
they
just
have to. They can spend it on whatever they want.
It ain't like the football team gets all $60 million.
No, but the Gator athletic department is getting over a 10-year period more than $100 million. And it's going to keep growing. The discrepancy is going to get bigger when the SEC's new TV contract.
I'm not going to lie. When you hear the numbers, it sounds nuts.
Comes out.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So again, that's
I got to know now. But like that $11 million this year for the Gators, compared to like Florida State or Miami. Now the men's tennis coach is probably going to get like $2.2 million
just
a
won
year.
the national championship. Got to spend it on
Tim
something.
Walton's probably in line for another raise. The softball program. Is O'Sullivan? Is the baseball team good still?
Yeah.
He needs more money. Yeah, listen, Dan Mullen ain't getting any more money. It's these other guys that are getting that $11 million.
It's the faucet at the desk of the ADs.
Listen, that well never runs dry.
It's unbelievable. But good for the ACC. They did beat the Pac-12 in revenue distribution, though. So the ACC had $497.2 million. The Pac-12 announced theirs, and it was $403 million. I don't know what the Big Ten's right up there with the SEC.
Big Ten's probably up there with
it might even be above.
Might be more.
It might be more than the SEC. I don't know if that will be the case when the SEC's new TV deal starts in 2024. But obviously, every league is going to grow as they sign the new deals, right? It's not like these TV deals are going down.
We're not that interested in college football anymore. Didn't see much of a return on our investment on that.
Wow. All right around the corner, it's the bridge. We have a lot to talk to Mark Daniels about. We have NBA